Good afternoon, my News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 22, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, a case management hearing in Sagicor fraud matter stalled. The issue of full disclosure was a point of contention between attorneys in the Sagicor multi-million-dollar fraud case on Tuesday morning. Elise Moulton White, a former vice president for group marketing at Sagicor Group Jamaica, client care officer Tishon Samuels, and the former Sagicor Bank employees Trisha Monique Moulton and Malika McLeod, are accused of conspiring and defrauding the U.S. foreign currency accounts of about 6 Sagicor customers. The matter, which was initially set for case management hearing Tuesday, failed to get off the ground when it was called up in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. It started with one of the attorneys for Ms. Samuels, Rita Allen Brown, informing the court that a disclosure had not been made. She also explained that it was she who collected a compact disc from the court's office. However, she was unable to access the content on the CD. But attorney Anne-Marie Furtado Richards, who will be prosecuting the matter on behalf of Sagicor, insisted that the case file was emailed to all defense attorneys. Senior Parish Court Judge Lauren Cole Montague intervened, asking whether the prosecutor had received the confirmation from defense counsel. In an attempt to move the proceedings forward, Judge Cole Montague told the parties that they were majoring in the matter. Meanwhile, attorney Matthew Hyatt, who is representing Mrs. Moulton White, informed the court that he had received the footage he requested in relation to deposits captured on video in September 2022 and that his client was not seen in the video, but he too had not received the email from the prosecution. Mrs. Moulton White is also represented by Berta Samuels. In the meantime, attorney Valerie Nita Robertson Casey, who is also representing client care officer Tishon Samuels, argued that she had not received the disclosure. Noting that she began representing Ms. Samuels in September, Mrs. Nita Robertson told the court that she was forced to photocopy documents at her expense that had been partially disclosed to her colleague. Prior to Tuesday's adjournment, Mrs. Nita Robertson suggested that a list be drafted of all the materials on which the prosecution intends to rely. She suggested further that each attorney would access the list and write the prosecution, indicating what is outstanding to prevent further hiccups. The defendants had their bail extended for them to return to court on March 27. Sentencing postponed for woman 10 years after murder. The sentencing for 35-year-old Diana Pinnock for the 2013 murder of 63-year-old former post mistress Natalie Hamilton in Beechertown, St. Anne, has been pushed back to December 4. Pinnock, who pleaded guilty to the charges of murder and child stealing after Hamilton's grandchild was taken during the incident, was scheduled to be sentenced on November 16. This was, however, pushed back as the state wanted to gather more information about Pinnock pertaining to another case of baby stealing in St. Mary for which she was sentenced. Pinnock of Epworth, St. Anne, had admitted to child stealing after Hamilton's 6-week-old grandchild was snatched from her before she was stabbed several times and left for dead at her home on the night of November 11, just over 10 years ago. The baby was later found alive in a bag in Bonham Spring near Exchange in St. Anne. After the murder and abduction in Beechertown, the police had revealed that Pinnock was charged earlier that year for a similar case of abduction involving a 1-week-old baby in St. Mary. That baby was found 2 days later in Ocho Rios. PIOJ warns of inflation surge following crop loss in recent heavy rains. The Planning Institute of Jamaica is warning that the destruction of crops following the recent heavy rains will cause a surge in the country's inflation rate for the final quarter of 2023. Director General Dr. Wayne Henry provided the preliminary estimates for the period July to September during the PIOJ's quarterly review of Jamaica's economic performance and outlook on Tuesday. He said the PIOJ will continue to track the impact the recent crop loss will have on its initial economic forecast of 1 to 2% growth for the October to December period.
Will allow the BOJ to speak more on that, but already we've seen soundings from the sector and other stakeholders that we anticipate inflationary impulses through the damage to crops in that sector. In terms of growth, our forecast for the upcoming quarter of the 1 to 2% and the calendar year between 2% and 3% and the fiscal year 1% to 2% have incorporated the anticipated impact on the sector. We've begun to see and track those numbers. So we have incorporated those. The continued focus among our priorities is to continue to build resilience as a country, and particularly in a sector like the agriculture, forestry, fishing industry, which is very vulnerable. And so you're seeing more initiatives to build what we call climate smart agricultural practices and to build overall resilience for the sector to withstand these types of impacts of climate conditions, climate impact, the negative climate impact.
Bullies threaten to rearrange a teen's face. Fearful mother keeps her daughter at home amid ugly threats. A 13-year-old student at a corporate area high school is scared to attend the school because of bullies at the institution who have reportedly threatened to rearrange her face. The student, whose identity is being withheld by the news, said her life has been made a living hell at the school. She said the situation is so bad that she had developed suicidal thoughts. It affects my self-confidence. It makes me feel like I'm ugly. It makes me feel like I'm done and I'm not special, the student said. More time I feel like I want to kill myself. It makes me feel like I want to die. The student said she has been called disgusting names since she started the school nearly a year ago. She said her classmates have constantly insulted her physical appearance, resulting in her becoming insecure. They trouble me about my forehead, and I got insecure about it. They say I'm ugly, they say I'm dunce, and that I should go back to either basic school or primary school, or go back to the school that I'm coming from. The school administration, when contacted by the news, said it takes all cases of bullying seriously. We are aware of an issue and the matter is under investigation, its vice president said. Bullying has been a prevalent problem in Jamaican schools. A 2015 study conducted by the United Nations Children's Fund found that 6 in 10 Jamaican students say they have been bullied at some point in their lives. Stuart Jacobs, president of the National Parent-Teacher Association of Jamaica, said it is his hope that the relevant authorities will take the matter seriously and act accordingly. I hope that the education system finds a way to identify the perpetrators and to stem what is happening, Jacobs said. The student, who has a poor attendance record at her school, said she is scared to attend out of fear that she will be assaulted. She showed the news a social media message thread in which 2 of her classmates promised to rearrange her face and step in her throat if she ever returned to school. The student's mother said she is fearful of sending her daughter back to school. She did not send her daughter to school on Monday to prevent further harassment and a potential assault. Prior to that, she did not send her daughter to school for 2 weeks because of the constant bullying. I feel helpless, like I'm unable to help. I feel like I have failed as a mother. I had faith in God that was shattered. You know, I've been trying to hold it together, emotionally, because I want to be strong for her, but it's been a challenge. I lock away and I cry a lot, the mother told the news. The situation has severely affected the child's academic progress because she is unable to focus in class and is unable to sit her current internal exams. Based on what I look at personally, mentally she's down, and I don't think I can put exams ahead of our mental health right now. I think it's at a point that it needs to be fixed, because she's not even focused, the mother said. Man jailed for begging 8-year-old nude pic. Investigators at the Communication Forensic and the Cybercrime Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force are requesting the access code to the cell phone of a 57-year-old mechanic who is accused of asking a child to send him a picture of her private parts. The request was expressed by prosecutors on Tuesday after the mechanic made his first appearance in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court for a charge of malicious communication. It is alleged that the accused texted the 8-year-old child while she was using her father's phone, requesting that she take a picture of her private part and send it to him. The matter was reported to the Constant Spring Police, and the man was arrested and subsequently charged. He has not yet entered a plea. The experts at the CFCD contended that the password to the phone will assist in their investigations. The accused, whose identity will not be published by the news in order to protect the identity of the child, was made the subject of a fingerprint order and remanded in custody until December 12, when a bail application is to be heard.